Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about some few more properties with logs. Okay, so in this video, we're going to condense, okay, using these three properties. And then in another video, we're going to expand logs, okay? So there's no solving. All we're doing is just rewriting them. We're either going to make them bigger, or we're going to make them smaller, okay? So there's really no, like, what you guys say, math involved, okay? All right, so let's first talk about the properties. So there's three properties that there's more properties, but there's three we're going to focus on, okay? So the first one is the product property. And the product property says that if you have a single log where you're multiplying, because remember product means to multiply, right? So if you have a single log, single means one, where you're multiplying two things, I can rewrite it as two logs or more logs where I'm adding the log. So I can rewrite this saying log, you keep the base the same, which is x, of a plus log base x of b, and that's it, okay? All right, quotient property. Quotient means to divide, okay? So this one says if I have a single log, where I'm dividing some things, I can rewrite it as where I'm subtracting the logs. So I could rewrite this as a log base x of a minus log base x of b, okay? Now, the way I remember these is when you multiply something, it gets bigger, right? Well, if you're adding something, it also gets bigger. So adding and multiplying go together. When you're dividing something, you get smaller. When you're subtracting something, you also get smaller. So that's how I correlate those together, okay? Now the power property, power means exponent. These aren't the technical definitions. This is just how I'm trying to get you to understand it. So I told you guys in a previous video, one of them previous ones, that a log and an exponent cancel each other out because they're inverses of each other. And we've already learned that inverses cancel each other out. Okay, so anytime you're taking the log of an exponent, see that exponent? It's not an exponent anymore. It actually goes to the front. And I rewrite this as x log base b of a. And you're done. Okay, so those are the three properties we're going to talk about. Now, we are going to condense in this video. Okay, and then you'll have a little assignment, and then we're going to expand, and then you'll have another little assignment. Okay? All right, so condense. What does condense mean? Condense means to make something smaller. All right, so if I want to tell you to condense the stuff in your book bag, it means I want you to get rid of some stuff. Okay? All right, so, and the one thing I also say is when you're condensing, your answer should only have one log. Okay? If you are condensing, I'll say it again, if you're condensing, you should only have one log in your answer. Okay? All right? So, A. Now, they have to have the same base. I'm not going to give you any that don't have the same base, but that can be in a different math. But in this math, we're going to keep it pretty simple and straightforward. They'll all have the same base, okay? But that is part of the properties. It must have the same base, okay? All right, so in A, it has log. Remember, if there's not a base there, it's an understood 10. So it says log base 10 of x plus log base 10 of 2y. All right, I want to condense these two, all right? So condensing means I'm only going to have one log. So I'm going to write that one log down because I know that's all I'm going to have. I am adding right here. So when you add, when you condense, it turns into multiplication. So all I'm going to say is x times 2y. And that's it. That's absolutely it. Okay? All right. Next one, B. I want to condense. This is subtraction. Now condensing means I'm only going to have one log. So I'm going to go ahead and write that log with its base. And when you subtract Subtraction goes to division. Now the first log is the numerator, the second log is the denominator. So this would be x divided by 7. Okay? All right, let's keep going. All right. So this one, let me get this one to go over a little bit. Give us some space. All right, so this one is using adding and subtracting, which is fine, okay? You just read it like you read a book, left to right, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is write down your single log. So my single log is log base 4, okay? I'm going to open up a parentheses. Now, the first two logs are being added, right? So I'm going to multiply those. So I'm going to say 3x times 2y. And then the subtraction means, all right, now you got to divide by w. Now you can clean this up inside, and I would like you to clean it up inside. I can say 3 times the 2, and I can say log base 4 of 6xy divided by w. Okay, so that is really and truly your final answer. Okay, so clean it up if you can. Okay. All right, the next one. The next one's not, I guess you can call it condensing. It's just I want you to play around with a property, okay, to make sure you know what it's talking about. Anytime, because when you solve logs, you can't have anything in front of the log, okay? So this is a property that helps you when you solve. So anytime you have something in front of your log, you have to use the product rule, okay? And you have to move it back as an exponent. So this is an exponent right here. So I'm going to remake it an exponent. And so this condensed version will be log of x squared. Okay? So anytime you have a number in front of log and it's telling you to condense, it wants you to make it an exponent. Okay? All right. Let's keep going. All right. So this one's going to do a little flashback to Math 2, but we'll get there. All right. Now, I want to condense this, okay? So I know I'm going to have one log as my final answer, okay? Now, before you can condense, though, remember I told you before you can solve, you have to get rid of any number in front of log. Anytime you have a number in front of log, you have to get rid of it before you can condense it, okay? So I'm going to move all of these front numbers back as exponents, and I'm going to have log base 3 of x to the 1/2 plus log base 3 of y cubed. Now, you really should remember this one. I feel like this one's an important one. Anytime you have x to the 1/2 power, that is really just the square root of x. Okay, that is very important that you know that. Okay, you might see that on your test. A 1/2 is a square root. So I can rewrite this x to the 1/2 as log base 3 of the square root of x plus log base 3 of y cubed. After you do that, adding means to multiply, so my final answer will be log base 3 of the square root of x times y cubed. Okay? All right, just remember, 1/2 means square root. Okay? All right, next one, okay? So this one, okay? So this one can be handled different ways, okay? I'm going to do it, I feel like, the easier way. So before we start condensing stuff, we got to take these exponents and we got to remake them as exponents. So now I'm going to have log of x minus log of y squared plus log of z to the 5th. All right. This subtraction means all this is going to be divided back here, okay? So when I make this a single log, I get x divided by y squared times z to the 5th. And that's your answer. There's nothing to clean up there, okay? All right, so let's do a few more problems, okay? Just to make sure we got it, okay? So this one is a numerical log, and that's why I want to do one of these because they simplify a little bit different, okay? All right, so first things first, you get rid of the number in front, okay? This number is going to become an exponent. So now I have a log base b of 3 cubed minus log base b of 3. Now, anytime that you have a number you can simplify, do it, okay? So I can type in my calculator and say 3 cubed is 27. And I now have log base b of 27 minus log base b of 3. Subtraction means to divide, so I'm going to have a single log of log base b of 27 divided by 3. Well, do we know what 27 divided by 3 is? We do. It is a log base b of 9. So you would just come up here in the Delta Math and you would just type the number 9, because see how it already has the log for you? And that would be your answer. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Let's see where I'm at. Let's go to this one. All right, so here we go again. This one is another numerical one, okay? Now before you can condense, you got to take that number in front and you got to make it an exponent. So now we have log base b of 4 squared plus log base b of 4. Well, what's 4 squared? 16. So now I have log base b of 16 plus log base b of 4. When you're adding, you multiply. So I'm going to have log base b of 16 times 4. Well, can I simplify 16 times 4? I sure can. And I get log base b of 64. And you would come over here because it already has your log, and you would just type in 64. Okay? All right. Next one is another numerical one, okay? And you do the same thing. Make that number in front an exponent. So now I have log base b of 6 squared. Well, what's 6 squared? 36. So my answer would be log base b of 36. Okay? All right. Non-numerical ones, you're still doing the same thing. Okay? You're still doing everything. It says you'll have less to simplify in the end. Okay? So first thing you do is you, excuse me, got a little high pitch there, more so than normal. So we're going to make these front numbers exponents, and I now have a log of a to the q power minus log of b to the third power. Well, what does subtraction mean? Subtraction means that you're going to divide these guys, and I'm going to have a to the q divided by b cubed. Okay? And it already has your log. So when you're doing these in Desmos, you need to be using this calculator right here. Okay? And it's just like the, Delta Math. It's just like the Desmos calculator though. Okay? You'll hit the fraction key, and you would have 8 to the a to the exponent q divided by b to the third power. Okay? All right. So let me see if I have it up still. I do. No, that's number 1. Let's see. Just so I can show you guys how to put it in there. Okay, so let's do this one so I can show you how to type it into Desmos. So first I'm going to screenshot it so I can show you what to do. Okay, so it's a division one again. It's just like what we just did. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to condense them. These numbers in front need to become an exponent. So I'm going to have a log of c to the third power minus log of d to the y. Subtraction means to divide. So I'm going to divide by c cubed divided by d to the y. So when I go back to my Delta Math, it's going to be c cubed divided by d to the y. So let's go back. Okay. So when I type this in, okay, let me get it to where the keyboard won't come up. All right. So when I type this in, keyboard, bring your keyboard up. Okay. All right. So first you need to do first we're going to do c cubed. So I'm going to say ABCs to c, go back to your numbers, raise it to the third power, arrow over, then hit divide, and then it's going to go back to your ABCs, d to the exponent of the y power. And that's your answer. Okay? That's how you type it in. All right? So last one I want to do, because it's a division one too. So Let's do one more multiplying one, okay? Here we go. Here's a multiplying one. I thought I had done a multiplying one. All right, so this one is going to be adding, okay? So what I'm going to do is make these numbers in front not exponents anymore, which only have one. So it's going to be log of b to the r power plus log of c. When you're adding, you're going to multiply. So now it's going to be log of b to the r times c. Okay? And remember, multiplication, you can write it anyway. So you can put the c in front if you want to. So when I go back here, I'm going to use my keyboard, okay? And I'm going to say b to the r. So b to the r power. I would actually, you got to tab over, you got to arrow over to get out. I would actually hit the multiplication button, okay? And then it's just going to be times c. And that's your answer, okay? All right, so that's it for this video, and come back for the expanding one.